you guys, it's Acrylic Painting Monday. Yay! Woohoo! If this is Ginger Cook, and we're going to be painting a Dutch farm in winter with a little windmill and all that stuff. And you know what's interesting about it is that when you look at this, it's kind of, it looks hard. And you're thinking, gosh, Ginger, it's nice. I'll never be able to paint that. But what if you could? What if you were just to follow along with me? And I'm going to break this down just the way when you look at a math problem, like you know, they break it down, and then you can understand how to do it. Painting works the same way. So I think you're going to be surprised how well this comes out when you try it. And I think your friends are going to go, oh my gosh, did you paint that? And you want to have that feeling. Let's find out how to paint this old Dutch house in the old world style. It's if you go to Holland today, you probably don't see many of these windmills like that. They're kind of the tourist sites anymore. But
like so many.
But that's what there's so many things like that. But this really takes us back in time, and I think it's pretty. You'll notice that the sky clouds aren't white; they're just sort of a little off-white, like a vanilla ice cream color. Yes,
French vanilla.
And then almost like it's a purple-blue background to the sky, and then you've got the water in here, and there's very little detail on this. It's mostly faded. So you're going to be so thrilled to do this and find out how easy it is. And this would be a painting that you could hang in your house and people would say, wow, you're really good. I couldn't believe you painted that. And believe me, I feel that you can. So we started off with this little old canvas, and it had some stuff on it. So I painted it over. And then I sanded it, so it looks a little rough, but I just wanted a light blue on there. And I'm not going to draw in the windmill yet, because we're going to just do the sky and a few things, and then we'll start adding details. Now let's get back to the colors. Over here, you'll see my what we call our legacy palette, which means that these are the colors I use all the time. And on these stay wet palettes, the paint stays good for weeks. Where if you do a regular palette or a paper plate, you can pretty much throw it away at the end of the day because the paint dries out. But these stay wet palettes keep your paint for a long time. And you can find the link to these. They're called Masterson palettes. I know we just show it right there, Masterson Stay Wet palettes. There's a little trick to doing them, but that's a good way to save money and also to keep your colors. Okay, so here's titanium white, raw umber, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue. This is Mars black, magenta, cad orange light, pyrrole red, or you could use naphtha red, raw sienna, yellow ochre, cad yellow light, which we probably won't use, but it's there. It's part of my legacy palette, cad yellow medium. So, we'll see which one of those we use, but we're going to start with the sky because, in landscapes, you always start with the sky first. And I'm going to use my little mixing palette here, and I want a very light blue. So it's going to be 99% white and a little bit of something else. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of the phthalo blue, right? Okay, just a very tiny bit. You see that? And a tiny bit of the magenta. There you go, just a tiny bit, okay? And a little bit more of that blue, okay? And a tiny bit of the raw umber. That'll make the paint, that's going to age the painting. We talked about how to age a painting. It looked like it was done by, years ago. You add a tiny bit of the raw umber, kind of like a mother color. So we're going to come up here like that. Now I'm testing that. I think I need a little bit more blue in that. Okay, yeah, about like that.
Almost matches the background.
Yeah, it kind of matches the background color I had, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and give this another coat of paint.
For those who are just joining us, this is a 9x12 canvas board.
Yeah, and I want to thank our mods for being here. That when we do the premieres, I will be typing very badly and poorly in the chat. My dyslexic me. In all caps, and I'm not shouting. It's just that you'll know me answering then. We're trying to make that possible. And you see how I'm just going to layer this all on here. And I'm going to take a little bit more of the white and add it to that. And just have to make just the tiniest bit more of that color. which I didn't want to have to do, but I feel, kind of didn't have quite enough mixed here, but that's all right. So you can see how I'm covering this canvas with this. And this is where probably zinc white would be good.
I knew it.
Because whenever you're doing skies, you pretty much do zinc white. So I'm just not going to put it on the palette. I'll just put it over here on my little wax paper sheet. And what we know for sure is that I just want a little bit lighter down here. So I'll just blend in that in. It's still wet, so I'll just blend that in a little bit there like that. Okay. Now while that's drying, let's mix this again and do the pond. So we're taking some a little bit of ultramarine blue and phthalo blue this time, and white. Okay. Now we need a lot more white. Okay, about like that. We're going to take the raw umber, a little bit of that. Okay, to kind of gray it out. Okay, and a little bit of the magenta. Just a little bit of that. There you go. A little bit more of the ultramarine blue. So that has the ultramarine blue red shade, so that has a bit of red in it. And take a little bit of that black color and put in there, just a touch. Just going to go in there with just a tiny bit of that black. There you go. That's the color I want. So I'm going to come in here like this and paint in the water. And you'll notice I'm keeping the brush strokes just sort of crisscrossing them and then pulling the brush strokes down and across like that. And you see this canvas covers really nicely when you get the second coat on. All right. So I'm going to just add a bit more color to this. A bit of that black. A little bit more white. A little bit more of that black and raw umber now. A little bit grayer as we get back here toward the end. Like this, yeah. And we're going to come back over here like this and just paint this in. I'll put a little bit of this lighter color. Here, let me put a little bit more white in it, maybe some zinc white. Come along here like this and say there's some lighter areas to this pond, and maybe there's some grayer areas too. Let's do something a little bit grayer, put a little bit of black with this. I want something a little grayer in here now. Can kind of blend that in. A little bit grayer. While this is still wet, I can just add that color down here at the bottom. Just slightly variations, but acrylics dry darker, so that should work pretty good. Just keep the brush strokes going down like that. That's my little darker corner. Okay, so now I'm going to rinse the brush and just leave that sit in water. And well, no, I could use it again though. So as long as we're doing it, we always talk about where else could we use this color. So I want to take some black and some ultramarine blue and some white, and I want to make this sort of gray color. Take a little phthalo blue with that too. Okay, I'm going to make this gray color like that, right? And then I'm going to put some more white with it. There you go. And that's this color up here of the underpainting of the snow. That's the underpainting of the snow color. A little bit darker gray. Then
shadows.
This is our the shadow color of our snow. So we'll put that in, and you see, just knowing which colors to put down first helps you. Always kind of try to do the darker shadows first. Okay, that will come over this direction. Okay, like that. And there's a little bit of this color over here. I could just put a little tiny bit of this where our island goes. As long as I know I've got a little island here like that, I could put that color in. Okay, like that. And I'll put that right here on the edge. There you go. So I've got, it's not much, but it's pretty good. We've got that. Okay. Now, when we rinse that, now that could be drying, right? Now we're going to take one of our smudgy brushes, and let's see, let's get a palette knife out. I want to scrape up this, all this blue color, this light blue color, like that. Just scrape that off of there. I'll just put it over here, I think. I can add it to this blue. I'll put it right there. I need that color. And let's scrape up this white here. So we put new white down at, here. We can just add that to this color here like that. There. Okay, now we can put some more white out and it should be okay. All right, so what we want to paint now is these clouds. And this is still wet, so we can't do that yet. So let's take a small brush and little angle brush, and let's take some burnt umber. All right, and a little bit of black and burnt umber. We're going to paint this this first house in here like that. See, the brush strokes are sort of down like that. And then you've got this one here, this little A-frame. That's here. Okay. And then you've got this, another little A-frame right here. Let's get a little bit more paint here. And this is coming down like this. And like that. And just, I think that would be a little bit of the burnt sienna right in this part right here. Okay, so that's this side of the house. And then I'm going to just take some of that red and I'm going to come up here like that and paint this in. It's just, we have to put a color on here somehow. So we'll start with this. That's the, going to leave a little bit of room for that awning that's here. Okay, and let's see, do we have a little bit of that color over here too? Okay, all right. So it's like, you know, we're going to paint that. I can add a little bit of that red to this color too. That's pretty. Okay, and I'll take a little bit of something dark right here. It's on the edges. There's always a little bit of dark color right there like that. Okay, so we're not going to paint anything else about that, but we can paint that. Now we can have this dry. Has this dried yet? No, we'll just dry it. We waited a little bit, hadn't dried, so we'll dry it. Hi friends, you're watching a special premiere video today, and I wanted to pop in and tell you why. This tutorial was filmed ahead of time because John and I are off exploring the world again, hiking mountain trails, visiting art museums, and collecting fresh inspiration to bring home to you in future lessons. But here's the thing, whether we're on a cruise ship or in a wildflower field like this, we never miss a lesson. Our YouTube and Academy videos are always released on time because helping you grow as an artist is something I care deeply about. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you'll subscribe, give the video a like, and make yourself at home. We've got lots of lessons here and even more over in our Acrylic Painting Academy. And even while we're traveling, I still do personal art coaching almost every day for our Red and Purple members. That's right, I'm reviewing paintings, recording video feedback, and cheering you on, one brush stroke at a time. If you're sending your art in for pack or posting in our free Facebook club, I can't wait to see what you're working on. Oh, and during this premiere, if the Wi-Fi is strong and the time zones line up, John and I love to jump into the live chat. He types like a wizard. Me, I'll be there too, typing in all caps with a few spelling goofs, but it's just me, excited to connect with you. So thanks for being here. Let's paint something beautiful together wherever we are in the world. Now the trick for the clouds is to get the right colors, obviously, right? We want to get the right colors. So we're going to start with titanium white. I put somewhere. Okay, and I'm just going to put it out on, I think that board has some blue on it. I'm going to do a different board. I'm going to just put some on here like that. Now, the color I want is sort of a yellowish color. So it's going to have some raw umber in it, like that. Okay, it's going to have that color in it for the clouds. And really squish that around. Mix that well. Okay. And it's going to have a little bit of yellow ochre in it. Maybe that color. Okay. And I want it lighter than that, okay? So I'm going to take a little bit of that cad yellow light with this too. Just a little bit of that and add it to this. Okay. So that's those light clouds. Kind of has a little bit of a tint to it. You see this is a little bit darker right here. These are the lightest ones. So we're going to take some, just a smudgy brush like this. We're going to start over here, make little circles. Very gently, barely touch it. Over here with the sky. And see how we age the picture? The idea is to let some of this blue show through. So let's see, where did I put that zinc white? You might want that too here. So we can lighten them even more, but put a little bit of that zinc white in there like this. Up here, make little circles and leave little spaces where that blue is showing through the clouds. That's the key, and it's really interesting because you really age this landscape doing that. You can learn a lot by, this painting was designed based on the old masters. It wasn't one of the originals, but I had the AI design it based on that so that we would be getting their techniques. And I think that this is, and then learning how to do this, I think is very key. All right, so over here, we've got quite a bit of clouds up in here like this. There's a little bit more of that zinc white. Barely touch it sometimes with these little smudgy brushes. These are the golden maples. You can get the link for these is on our website. It's our Amazon store, so just go to stores and then you'll find the direct link to the stores on this. Now I want something pretty light. What bright about here is where that windmill goes, and so I want something pretty light behind that windmill. So we've got that. Now, we also have that color. See, the thing when you do this stuff is, you know, John, I don't have this picture on my iPad.
Ooh, it should be there.
Yeah, so under this part right here, I've got some of this color in the water, okay, like that. Just not too much. I'm gonna wipe my brush off a bit. Don't have that much of this in here, but I have that. I'll have a little bit of that.
My queens.
Thanks. So I have a little bit of this light color here. And then we've got a little bit of this over here. We've got sort of this light color at first, and then we'll take a little bit of zinc white. And this gets some white over it, but basically this is over here. There's some snowy stuff here, right? Okay. And I always like to say, well, where else can I put the color? We've got some good color back here. on this, kind of where it's coming down. Just sort of drag that along there like that, right? So you can see that's a really neat way to make a sky. And remember, I have that blue left over from the blue-gray color left over that I put here on the palette, right? So, for instance, if you needed to put another hole back in your sky, you could take a little bit of blue and do that, you know, something like that if you needed to. But, okay, and I kind of like that blue color here, so I'm going to put some of that color right here, like this. On my shadows here on my snow. Okay, I still got that brush. And then I can take my white paint, which I didn't put back. Okay. And as we do that, you see, I always like to see what else I can do with the brush. For instance, here's a little zinc white. I can tap that on here like this with the snow. Like, just can you see this? I'm just tapping this across like that. That's where that snow went. Okay. A little bit of tapping right here like that. Okay. And then I've got a little bit of white here. And this can be this is our white snow. And it doesn't go clear to the house. It skips a space. So there's not as much white on there as you'd think, but it's here, right? Okay. And if we're looking at places where I could put white, I could take a little brush now. See, I always look for stuff like this. Take a little tiny detail brush, and I'll take some of that white color. And I know that, for instance, I've got this is on an angle like this on this on the top of this little guy right here. That's white. Okay. And this is white right here, like that on the edge. Right? And then we've got a little bit of white and ultramarine blue. And let's take some of that other color that we had, right? So we can mix that, put a little magenta in it. Ooh, too much. That's not, oh, I don't think so. That's probably about right. So this purple blue color. And we're going to put that on this roof right here. Those on this roof. And this is sort of a yellow oxide color right here. Now, to make that little house thing, let's take some yellow and orange, okay? With me? And let's tap it on here like this, like it's bricks. We got the red underneath. So we're just taking the cad yellow light and the orange, but you could use cad yellow medium too, right? We're just tapping this on here like that. You want some of the red to show through. And then we get that started. So this is sort of, let's see, I want something a little lighter than that. Barely touch it, just kind of tap it in there. You're not really painting it through. Okay. All right. Okay, so then, so this is, come on, you're just amazed, aren't you, at how easy this is once we start doing it, right? And,
Looks like a barren landscape at the moment.
oh yeah, but still. Okay. Yeah, it's true. That's true. That's what that is. But we're going to get something a little darker down here in front of the house here, like this. This gets darker coming down here like this. We'll take a little bit of brown. Then we come back up here. And let's see, we got to put this house on like this. And we've got some bushes back up in here like that. We'll just use some burnt sienna and raw umber and just create some bushes. This is probably not the brush to use for that. Sure is not. So let's use more of a pointy brush. Okay, put some more white in these. Put some clouds back, and you're just suggesting a trees there back here. Okay, and then we got some white for this roof right here. Then there's another little shed by the house that's doing this. This is all dark brown back in here by the house. So it's you don't see that much of this building. We're just suggesting it. Put the sky back. And then there's this little tiny tree here. This is kind of fun. This is probably a little bit more complicated than we do for YouTube. But you know, when we do premieres, I can get away with it. Let's see, let's take a little water on the brush. Gotta get that flowing. Then come up here, very tiny little branches up here on some trees. And then what you can do is you can take some raw umber and smear it around like this, right? A little bit of water with it. Okay? And then what you do is you just suggest tapping in some bushes like that. You don't have to do much. Okay. And then we'll do a better trunk on these trees. All right. Okay, and as long as we're doing that, let's take some burnt umber. Oh, let's take some orange, right? It's easier to do it this way. Let's take some orange and do a little chimney right there, here, and then there's one right here on the front of it, right here like that. This house has 3 chimneys. I don't know that it needs 3, but you know, I didn't build it, so the AI did, and it thinks it needs 3, so I'm putting them. You don't think it needs 3, then I wouldn't put 3, okay? Then it gets some dark on the one side of the chimney that's on the shadow side, so that one part of the chimney is darker. Okay, let's get this a little bit darker right here. And then you're going, oh no, there's an and then. So you can take this sort of light color with a little bit of yellow in it, right? And you can make some windows. Let's just take the cad yellow light. And we're going to make some windows here like that. And then we get to put, now this is sort of fun. So we're going to take some dark color to kind of get it flowing, right? And we're going to say that there's some trees that are next to the house, like this. And let's get them fairly, maybe not black, but at least dark brown, right? We're just saying that these are up, they're up pretty much higher than the house. So we're going to put some branches. Okay. Like that. Now we're going to dry that. I'll show you why. Hi, you guys, Ginger Cook here, and these are the paintings that will be drawn for our fourth quarter. Yeah, wow, the days are going by fast, and so did this year for our scholarship fund. For those of you who have been contributing at least $25 over the last 3 months, either on YouTube or in our academy, have a ticket in the fishbowl for drawing to win one of these original paintings. And I just love these penguins. That was a painting Christmas painting we did last year for you. The frames we found on Amazon, they were very reasonable, and Jerry's Autorama, these wooden ones. So just in case anybody asks us, the frames of course, aren't with the paintings. But I think you're going to love the penguins and these cattails. This is one of my favorite tutorials we've ever done on YouTube. I really debated hard whether to put this in there, but we so appreciate your donations. That's what keeps the channel going and allows us to scholarship artists in our acrylic painting with Ginger Cook Scholarship Fund, where they can get personal art coaching and help somebody become an artist. So there's these cattails. You would probably remember this tutorial this year of the Mediterranean window. John, can you zoom in? Look at the texture on this. Can you see all the texture on the flowers? This is such a cool painting. I think you would really love to be able to see all the blending and layers and everything in this. The TV cannot show, or the computer can't show you how marvelous these colors are. Everyone that's ever gotten an original painting from me, and of course these come with certificates of authenticity, has said that the colors are so much more magnificent than what we can even show you here, even though they have been varnished. This was a painting that I did for the Academy, and it's called Michigan House, and it's in the style of Thomas Kincaid. And again, this is one of my favorites. I think that you might really, really love it. And if I just turn this like this for a minute, I'm going to show you. We decided to do the reindeer, and we thought that some of you might enjoy that as a Christmas decoration, and this will be shipped to you in time for Christmas, or because they're going out. I don't know when, John, but first week of December. So we're going to get these to you, and I don't know. This was a YouTube painting. If you haven't seen this YouTube video, we did it on YouTube. I think did we do it on YouTube or in the Academy? I think we did. So anyway, there's somewhere, right? And then finally, let me just show you I'm just going to pop it on top. Here's our the kids on a log. On a farm, and I think that's really, I think this is charming and sweet, and maybe brings back some memories that you have. And anyway, these will be just some of the paintings. Depending on the donations that come in, there'll be a few surprises. And so again, we thank you very much for that. And I must look up here, John, and say that your contributions are so appreciated. They keep the channel going, and also they allow artists to continue with their art education, and that from all over the world. I'm talking globally, and it makes such a difference, and you're part of that. So thank you very much, and we love you guys, and happy holidays. We'll take a little smudgy brush, a small one. I'll say one like this. It's pretty good, right? And we're going to take a little bit of the burnt sienna and a little bit of the raw umber. And I'm going to use a tiny bit of matte medium for this. Okay. This Liquitex matte medium. All right, I'll just take a spoon and put about a teaspoon out in that, right? Okay, I don't need very much. This has to be dry or it doesn't work. Okay, and I want a little bit of yellow oxide with this little yellow ochre. Now, gonna mix that over here like this. Now, what you do is you take a little bit of that color too here like this. Then you rinse most of it off, and then you just have a little bit more thinner color as you go up like this. Next to the tree. Okay. And then I'm taking a little bit of raw umber in the medium like that, putting it on here like that, just a little bit of raw umber and matte medium, right? Okay. And I'm going to come behind here like this, and I'm just going to imply that there's some bushes growing back here on this edge. See how I got them? They're all kind of faded. I might put some of that color in there too. Let's take a little bit of that orange color and a little bit of medium. Ooh, that's too bright. I'll put some in here anyway. There you go. Just tap that in there. Okay. So we'll use that. We'll come back for that. We'll use that later because, well, I'll tell you how we can do this while we're doing it, while we have the colors mixed, right? We're going to come in here like this and smudge using the matte medium. We're going to just smudge the shrub, all the bushes and stuff that are growing on the side of this, right? That's our first smudgies. So we're going to come down here into the water like that. Down into the water like this. And the matte medium makes it very translucent. You take a little bit of yellow ochre in matte medium so that you get sort of blended effect. Okay, ready for this? And then you can use not just the smudgy, you can use a regular brush, and then you can get a little bit more defined with the weeds when you do the same thing, right? Okay, so we're saying that we're coming up on here like this and saying that there's some weeds growing up here. And this is just the first color down for that, right? Just the medium, you know, because you're trying to get it to be, well, let's make a little oranger here, right, like that. So we've got some, the medium makes it very thin and translucent. So you see what I'm doing here like that, using this brush like that. Okay. And that's how we're doing the reflections. pond. I'll take a little bit of raw umber and get some matte medium with that. Bring some darker reflections down. And then we've got some darker brown. That's put a little medium with that, right? And I told you we have that little island up here of dark. And then we got some dark along here like this. So you just keep adding the layers, right? And it just works really well. And then you've got some darker bits of color coming up in here like this on your pond. So kind of what's showing up is going to be reflected underneath, right? Like that. You see how we've gotten this area here is all dark. A little bit of matte medium with that. And we got this whole area here is all dark. And it's got the and so you could, sometimes people wonder, well, how am I going to get that effect, right? Well, you're going to get that effect because the matte medium makes it translucent. So you've got a little bit of these weeds growing up in here like that on the pond, but you don't want to say that, coming through here, you don't want to say too much about it, right? So I can do a lot just by and use a brush and kind of maybe make this a little bit bigger tree here. And then I want something darker next to this. So dark in here, I want something a little darker, right? So next to the house, I want to have this to be a little bit darker than I've got it. Not quite so dark. So you want the trees to show up next to the house. So you want this area here to be darker. And we'll just erase some of that like that. There you go. So that's darker next to the house. And we've got this interesting, this goes all the way around this little peninsula of grass. And it comes up here like this and does that. Goes all the way around. And I mean, don't you think that's sort of interesting how that works? Just.
You make it look so simple.
And you'll just put some more of these bushes back here behind this one too. We don't talk about those, okay? So, again, it's all about layering, but you've got something a little bit darker right here. I don't get too carried away, but okay. And I love that sort of orange color that you can get, that thin orange color you can get with this, and a little bit of yellow ochre. You get that beautiful orange color, and you just have to be able to wipe it off your brush. Now, this is key. You put stuff on your brush and wipe it off. And if you do that, you'll have no problem. But if you just keep piling paint on, then you'll say, Ginger, it didn't work. No, it didn't. So here we go. So I'm going to put this on here again. See? Here's my layers of color. I want this to be a little bit redder right here. So I'm going to put that color in here like this, and more going down into the water. Okay. And yes, could you use water instead of the question is, can you use water instead of yellow oxide or the medium? And you could, John, you could use some water. Okay. The problem with that is that the water, if you're not using very good acrylics, the water won't stick to the canvas. When you varnish it, it'll all come off. It's, the medium allows your paint to stick. So now we have to go even darker. So ultramarine blue and burnt umber. So we got to get a little bit darker in here like that. See? That's what you could keep layering the dark, right? And put a few dark ones down here like this. So this is all darker in here like that. Okay, and then let's see, we got this one pretty dark up here. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now what I can do, I've rinsed the brush. Remember I saved some of this light color, right? So I want to come along here like this and put my lake back and over it. See, like that? I'll just come back here and go over the reflections. You didn't know you could do that, did you? All right? Didn't know you could go over the reflections, or just take titanium white now and make something a little bit lighter. And I've got a little bit of light gray here. I could come down here like that. You go, huh? Aren't you doing that? Aren't I getting a little huh out of you guys, right? A little bit, maybe?
I would think so.
I would think I was getting a little bit of that, right? And then what he's got in here is that, which is sort of interesting, in these weeds, he's got some white. Like the snow came through or dropped on it, right? Yeah, huh? How cool is that, right? Didn't think that, did you? Then it's a little bit more of this color. I'm going to tap that on there, make that a little bit thicker. Okay. So now we're going to get some more white back here. Okay. And so, I got some more white right here. Well, one thing about it, when we were in Holland, they still have the canals, don't they?
Yes, we do.
They still have, absolutely, they still have the canals. And that's kind of cool. So then you need some snow on this side of the house, like that. And just want a little bit, the second layer of blue on that roof. There, okay, that looks a little better. Now, see, we've got some, the trick is, if you use the matte medium, we're doing that a lot this year. We're just, we're kind of showing you how you can achieve really neat effects. It's called glazing, is what it's called. All right. So back to the little brush. One of them. Yeah. All right. So let's dry this, and then we're going to put in the windmill. All right.
Before you dry that, what are the little dots that are above the house?
What?
I see three look like little droplets.
Here?
Above it.
Oh.
That, and over to the other side there, above the tree a little bit, just before you dry those in there. There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Ah, bonjour, mes amis. It is I, Vincent van Gogh. Yes, that Vincent. You may have heard of my little painting. Starry Night, it's okay. I have better ones. I'm taking a break from painting sunflowers to tell you about something quite extraordinary. Ginger Cook's Acrylic Painting Art Academy. You see, when you join as a red or purple member, you don't just learn from Ginger. Oh, no, no, no. You get to study the brushstrokes of my dearest old friends. Monet, Renoir, Gauguin. Okay, he still owes me a letter. Matisse, Picasso, even those brilliant Americans. Metcalfe, Homer, Rockwell. These are the greats, and Ginger makes their genius fun to learn. And let me tell you a secret. Museums don't let you touch their paintings, but in Ginger's Academy, you get to paint them. You'll see how the masters saw light, shadow, color, even if some of them couldn't find matching socks. So, if you're ready to laugh, learn, and paint your way through art history, join us. Red members get hundreds of full-length tutorials. Purple members, everything, including the wave and water masterclass. Yes, I peeked, and it's brilliant. Don't worry if you're not a genius yet. I wasn't either, until posthumously. Join us. Discover your style by standing on the shoulders of giants, and maybe me, if you're not too tall. Paint boldly, dream wildly, and remember, your masterpiece is just one brushstroke away. Join red or purple membership today. Learn from the masters. Paint like one. Join Ginger on her website, paintingwithginger.com.
Now I'm going to just take a Posca pen and draw that house in for you. And the windmill. We could trace it on, but it's going to go right here, okay? Well, let's use a black one. Okay. So it's going to go right here, like that. Kind of slopes down a little bit like that. And then behind it, behind this sloping roof here, like that, is the windmill. Okay, and I'm going to just sort of, my windmill has almost a triangular shape here to it, and then it's actually a little fatter than that. And this is coming up a little higher, even still. I'm sketching it in with a Posca pen, which so you can see it. Okay, and I'm going to dry that, otherwise I'd smear everything, okay? And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to take some yellow, cad yellow light, and put it in my windows. Okay. Now let's take some white paint and paint over this. And we want probably some raw umber to paint the inside of this. Try some burnt umber, it's not dark enough. Okay, so some burnt umber for the windmill. And just sort of a kind of a gray color for the side of this house. This brush has too much spring in it to get me a lot of detail, but it's close enough. A little bit of burnt sienna in here now. I'll layer some colors. And I'm going to have a little, where did that zinc white go up here? I want a little zinc white on this side of the windmill. And okay. So let's do a little bit of black and burnt umber in uh, glazing medium. We're going to come up here like that and make these little bushes back here more translucent than that. That's going to be the, when I say glazing medium, I really mean matte medium right here like that. We got to make this a little taller. Okay. Now, then there's some dark gray area in here like that. Okay, so we got a little bit of distance going on here like that. And if I take a little bit of white, you guys, and do a little bit of the yellow here, I can put a few little windows in that, right, like this, and maybe put a little bit of light on this side of the windmill, like that. Okay. Now, normally you'd see a thing here, but let's just dry all that too, because I'm pretty happy with that, except for this is a little darker. We'll dry that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some raw umber and we're going to come straight up here like this with this. Like that. Take a little bit of the matte medium so that it flows better. And then behind the windmill here, there's it does a T like this. Okay. And then let's take some, let's just gray this out a little bit now. Okay, so there's your, got a little bit of yellow in it. I'm not sure why, what that would be, but now I want to take the white paint, the titanium white, okay? And I want to come up here on the roof of this and give it a second coat of white. And then put some white back here in front of our house and everything, our windmill. And as long as you're doing it, let's put some sky back in our tree. Birds should be able to fly through your trees. So if you do that, you don't need much. You can just say that there's some, if you got carried away with your tree, you save that sky color. Okay, so you got the bushes. Okay. I think I want to go glaze over this windmill. It's too dark and I want to lighten it. So if I put glazing medium on it, that will lighten it. When I dry it, it'll just be kind of push it in the background. There was kind of a dark line here like that. Under there. Oh yeah, and then there's a little bit of a dark line, right? A little bit peak on the roof of this guy here too. Okay, so we got these. When they're far in the background, you don't have to do a lot of detail. We're not going to, I'm not going to put all the detail in, but I can, you can, when you're in a detail brush, you can add a few more, like little bits of weed, but don't get too busy. Just try to keep it pretty pretty simple. Okay, try to keep it pretty simple. And then this over here is there's a little bit of red weeds going on in here too, like that, with burnt sienna. Again, we're not trying to say that much about it, just some stuff reflecting. Then you can take a little white like this and see how neat that looks? So you've got that, this is all solid going to the edge of this on our pond. Then we take the Posca pen. You ready for this? This is so cute. We come back here and we go ahead and put the windows in. And now I want to lighten up the windows. They're a little bit too yellow, so let's just lighten them up just a touch. And then we'll add some final touches. We put it in the frame and we're done. And what do you guys think of this, right? Did you think we could do anything like that quick?
I certainly didn't. I thought it'd take days.
Yeah, didn't it? I mean, I just, it honestly, if you could just get the paint order, it makes it so much better, right? You don't have to talk about stuff too much. You, like I say, I'll put it in the frame and I'll do some more snow stuff, but put our little palettes away. I mean, honestly, you guys, don't you think this is cool? Like I say, I've got a little bit more to do with this building, but brighten up the brick here. I'm going to dry that and give it to John, and we'll put it in the frame and see what else we need to do to make this wonderful little picture come to life, right? Okay, so we're back to...
No, we're not back yet. Oh, yeah, we are. Hey, we're back. Look at that baby frame.
Wow, I mean, you guys.
That belongs in the Louvre.
And honestly, when you think about it, you just... When I think about it, for instance, just pulling some... Isn't that kind of neat? I mean, in all fairness, that's just... And then you always want to put some sideways. Let's see, where's that other brush? Here. Well, I can use this one. So when you put the downward, reflections, then you've got to put some sideways ones going across, like that, for instance. And, you've got some little bit of snow on here like that. See how that works? So you put the titanium white here, and then, for instance, there was a little bit of kind of some light, remember, in here like this, where that went. These are just small little finishing touches, but when we decide that, for instance, I know that I want some more white up here by the house, and I mean, for something in an hour, I mean, I think that's what I can't stress enough, is that, you think that it has to take a really long time to paint something like this, and it can, and if you did it bigger, it might take you a little longer, right? But all in all, I think you can see that we've got, some real, we got an old world painting, and we did it in just a little amount of time, okay? We didn't we didn't try to do every cattail. You know, I mean, I suppose these are cattails, right, like that. We didn't try to make every cattail there like that, but, you know, we could have. But, you know, this is just a simple, quick, I guess it's a kind of a quick sketch on how you might paint a painting like this. And when you look at it, I mean, I'm really very happy with how it came out. If you wanted this to be even more pushed back, you put a little zinc white over that, or titanium white, you know, not titanium, but zinc, you know, push that back, okay? Let's see, where's my... Get that edge a little bit better. You can fool with it a little bit, but honestly,
you did a bang-up job.
I think it's really fun. And, you know, this kind of wherever there's a light, there's a dark thing gets going here. So I might put a little bit more light here next to this edge on the building and just push those down a little bit there. Look like somebody's home in there. And I want to just do another layer of paint on that roof. So I wasn't totally happy with the roof, that roof here. That one looks a little dirty to me. So let's put a little bit of magenta in that. Remember how we made that? Kind of that dark purple color, kind of a purple blue. There, that's nice, right? So let's just give that another coat like that. And gosh, we've got it. Yes? Don't you think we've got it?
I think it's amazing. I don't know how you do it so quickly.
In an hour. We did this in an hour. Could be, you know, we spent some more time on it. But you got the gist of how you would paint this. Don't you feel like you did?
I did.
And that's what I wanted you to have. Is just how would you go about painting something like this? When you see a painting like that, you know, the raw umber will make the painting. We'll do something as far as making the painting make it age. You know that the raw umber will age it. I want to make this.
It gives it the old world look. The paintings of yesteryear.
Yeah, just going to lighten that a bit right here. There, okay. But honestly, I think this would make a nice Christmas card too. What do you think, John?
Oh, I think so.
I think so. If you guys want to make this into a Christmas card, you can make little prints of that. You have our permission for the Christmas card prints. And we want you to have fun with this. And I really, in the comments below, because we do a lot of premieres, John and I are traveling this summer, and we want to thank everybody for joining us on our painting adventures. And we're always interested in what else you want to paint too. So you got to tell us that stuff, right? That's too much right there. Let's get that right there. A little bit of white there. And you can see that there's a lot of different ways to paint things. But you really, when it comes to a landscape, you paint from the farthest thing away forward and try to, you know, keep your colors consistent. And I think you mixed some colors here. So let's give us a like and a thumbs up and share the video. And can't wait to see what you guys are going to paint next.
Thanks, everybody. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And like she said, the old thumbs up does the world of good.
Love you guys.
Bye now.